Welcome to the National Pediatric Diabetes Audit Electronic Web Platform EWP webinar. In the room we have Nayan Bedia, who is the project coordinator for the NPDA, Holly Robinson, who is the project manager for the NPDA, and Melanie David-Fevick, who is the project administrator. This webinar will provide guidance on how to use the new features within the EWP. You'll be taken through the new data completeness report and supporting documents available on the NPDA website, which will provide further details on frequently asked questions when using the new EWP features for the 2015-16 audit submission. As you can see on the home page, you can upload a CSV via Submit NPDA Data, or you can create a questionnaire and input your data onto the platform using the Create button. However, this webinar will be taking you through how to use the data completeness report via uploading the CSV file. I will now be handing you over to Nayan Bedia, who will be taking you through the steps on how to use the data completeness report feature.
To access the data completeness report, you will need to upload your data via CSV as normal. Once you click on the Import button, you may be asked if you want to override your data. And once you have selected to override your data, you will automatically be taken to the data completeness report page. This may take a few moments to load, depending on the size of the CSV that you are submitting. After your data has been submitted, and you are taken to the data completeness report page, the first thing you will see is how many lines of data have been submitted via your CSV. The second section is a red highlighted area which will show you how you can access your error validation email. Therefore, if you do not get this email, you can automatically download it here as a PDF. Although we have a data completeness report, it is still important to refer to this document or email because it will show you which aspects of your CSV you may need to update. So for example here, it will show me which lines I need to look at and which aspects of my data I may need to edit or change. The next part of the data completeness report is the option to resubmit your data via CSV or to resubmit your data via questionnaire. In total, there will be 5 tables in the data completeness report. The first one that will appear is a summary breakdown of all the data that you have submitted. Therefore, it will have how many individual NHS numbers are there, how many of them are over 12 years of age, how many of them are under 12 years of age, and how many from each section will be considered depending on having completed a year of care. The other 4 tables are collapsible. Therefore, by clicking on them, they can be expanded or closed. The first of these 2 tables goes through each patient that has been listed. It will show whether they are over 12 years of age by a Y or under 12 years of age by an N. And then we'll have the 7 key care processes and 5 other care processes. Please rest assured that the data presented is dummy data and the NHS numbers displayed are simply randomly generated 10-digit numbers. To understand what these symbols mean within the data completeness report, you are able to scroll down to the Legend for Care Process tables, which will explain that the tick means that the care process has been completed, and the cross means that the data completeness, that that particular care process has not been completed. As you select on these tables, you may see that some patients are highlighted in orange. These are patients that have not completed a year of care. Similarly, next to some of them, you may also see the NA sign. This represents that either the patient did not need to have the care process completed because they are under 12, or will be highlighted NA because some patients have diabetes types other than type 1. The second two tables will look at the overall completion rate of each of the 7 care processes and the 5 other care processes. You are able to download the PDF of any of these 5 reports by selecting on Export Reports to PDF and selecting the relevant tables that you wish to export. You are then able to print these data completeness report tables or use them in rectifying your data before your final submission. The final part of the data completeness report page shows the completion rate and the denominator and numerator used for each of the key care processes calculated in the final 2 tables. I will now hand over to my colleague Holly, who will show you the documents available with regards to the data completeness report.
So I'm going to show you some of the documents available on our website to support you through the data collection process. If we start with the Dataset document, this is the dataset that we are currently collecting. You can see that it's not changed since the 2012-2013 dataset. And it shows you what the permitted values are within the CSVs that you upload. Should you be uploading via that method. So here are some of the documents available to support you with your data submission for 2015-16 available on the NPDA website. You can see that this page is available underneath this banner here. And if we start with the data set, this provides details of all the data items listed in the CSV that units are asked to submit, and it gives details of the permitted values that should be included within that CSV. And as you can see, the data set has not changed since 2012 and 2013. We're aware that NICE guidance has been updated in 2015, and whilst the DCR does not yet reflect those changes, and nor does the data set, the way that we report your 2015 and 2016 data certainly will reflect those changes. Before submitting any data, especially if you haven't submitted data before and unfamiliar with the process, we recommend you thoroughly perusing the Ewp User Guide for 2015 and 2016. It's got all the information that you'll need, including the schedule. Important to note that the deadline is the 15th of July for this submission. But it's a fairly lengthy document, so if you really don't have time or you've gone through this process before and just need a refresher, we also have a quick reference guide here for you to refer to. The CSV submission template can be downloaded from this page of our website. You can see the header row here, which has got all the variables listed within the data set, and it's important to when you submit this CSV, it's important to make sure that all the columns marry up with their headings and that they're not submitted in any different order. So make sure that your extraction matches these. Finally, if you require any written information about the data completeness report subsequent to this webinar, we've got a full user guide here, which explains all the functionality of the DCR, and a frequently asked questions sheet as well. Possibly the most important part of this is the information at the end showing you how the completion results for each care process are calculated within that report. For 2015 and 2016, we are asking all clinical leads to sign off the data once you believe it's finally ready. Once you've checked your data completeness report, once you've attended to any errors in your submission that have been highlighted to you through the data validation emails, etc., and you've eyeballed your CSV just to make sure it does represent the data that you would like us to include in your unit level report, we'd like you to fill in one of these forms to check that you've gone to let us know that you've gone through all of these processes to ensure the completeness and accuracy of the data that you submit to us so that we can accept your data into the national audit. The deadline to complete this form and to return your data is the 15th of July. It's important to note that the DCR is not a definitive guide to your submission. We hope it's going to be very helpful to all units as a means of identifying missing data. However, the data that you receive in your eventual unit level reports will not match this, partly because it goes through a cleaning process that is not completely replicated by this DCR. So, for example, out-of-range values are not caught by the data completeness report, but these will be eliminated from the analysis in your unit level reports. And as I've already said, the NICE guidelines that have been updated will inform the way that we present your 2015-2016 data. So lastly, I'd like to thank you very much for listening to our presentation. We hope it helps you to interpret and use your data completeness report to ensure that your eventual NPDA report is an accurate representation of the care that your service is providing. If you've got any questions that can't be answered by any of the documentation that we've referenced in this webinar, please do get in touch with the NPDA team. We're on hand 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and we look forward to helping you through the submission process.